everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris Orme, and today I want to take a look at the Broncos 2021 NFL entry draft. For those that don't know, I am, of course, a Broncos fan. It was a pretty interesting 3 days. Some really nice pickups and some question marks, some choices that didn't make sense in the moment, but upon further reflection, perhaps, you start to see the logic. It's also the first draft in the tenure of George Paton, who, first-time GM. So his first draft, he executed some trades, he waited for some guys, he dropped, he let the board come to him, he traded back up when he felt he needed to. It was really interesting to watch, actually, his thought process, what he did, how he stacked this draft in our favor, because I do think we came out of it very, very well. But this is the haul. Kotlin Sutton Jr., great first pick there. Javonte Williams, great running back. Quinn Miners, Senior Bowl darling in the third, along with Broning, who's a prospect I'm very high on. Then back-to-back safeties. We went for Stearns, getting Stearns decent, and my probably favorite, Jamar Johnson, out of the pair, but two very good safety options that maybe aren't seen as a need right now, but we'll get to why this all makes sense. Hey, Seth Williams, interesting pickup there as well in the 6th, and then a trio of 7th round picks. Kerry Vincent Jr., another corner. That takes us up to 2 corners and 2 safeties with a team that's already quite deep at DB. But again, we'll get to why that makes sense for me. Jonathan Cooper, linebacker, edge. We'll get to that fit, as well as Marquis Spencer, who I think Marquis is a very interesting final pickup here late in the draft. So those are the picks, and here I am. So let's get into this a little bit then. I want to quickly talk about where we started before the draft. You can see here the needs according to NFL.com. Quarterback, depends what you believe, but yes, it is a quarterback room that leaves a little bit to be desired. The rest of the team I do feel is really good in places. If things go our way, you could see us as having the best roster in the NFL outside of quarterback. So out of all the teams that need a quarterback, I think we're the best. If you plugged in any of the top 5 quarterbacks into this system, I think we've got a decent shot at a Super Bowl run. Now, getting that top 5 quarterback is the issue. That's not Drew Lock yet. Might never be. It might not have been Justin Fields or Mac Jones, but we did have the option and we passed on them. It's not Teddy Bridgewater. But with this team, he may be good enough to take us to the playoffs. So might Drew Lock. There are rumors that persist that Aaron Rodgers wants to go to Green Bay, and of the teams he said that he wanted to talk to, pretty much everybody else has figured out their quarterback's room right now. So kind of leaves us as the only suitor, maybe. Fiance and Boulder. It could make sense. There's plenty of weapons here that Rodgers would adore after being stiffed every year in Green Bay as they refuse to spend top picks on offensive weapons for him. He is 37. He's coming out of an MVP season. They're going to have to wait until June 2nd, the post-June 1st cuts, when all those bonuses kind of happen. Then money changes. That frees up about $20 million, I think, in the cap for them at least. And so that just makes a lot more sense. They would do a deal then, not now. So kind of where we are coming into this. But quarterback, yes. Offensive line, much better last season. Improving. Garrett Bowles looks like he can play. The interior didn't look as strong, but a couple of young guys that can work it out. I have faith. Right tackle, the big question. Juwan James, is he the premier right tackle that we know he can be? Or is he the right tackle that isn't fully committed and injury prone to boot? Really need to solve that position one way or another. We'll figure that out as we go through this little recap and breakdown of what we did in this draft. They've got defensive line and linebacker. I don't disagree. I think we need depth. We definitely need a tight end coverer. We need help on the edge because we're quite thin after you go past. Okay, you got Von Miller and Bradley Chubb, but you're quite thin after that. You know, defensive line, I think we're good. We got some good young guys. I don't think it's as big a need. I do think a young nose tackle would make all the difference. Not this year, but 2 years down the road maybe. That's when that will have a big impact. So we can wait, but it's nice to go after that. And then running back. Lost Philip Lindsay. Melvin Gordon's okay. Boone's come in. Freeman's okay, but it's okay for a third running back. But that's really a room that needs some oomph, some juice, and a little bit of care and attention that really hasn't been spent on it. Sucks to say, but hey. So I kind of agree with this, but yeah. The moves we made coming into this, though, Teddy Bridgewater for a 6th round pick from Carolina, that's 191 in this draft. I believe Carolina then traded that pick anyway. But they got their quarterback. They move out Teddy. I love Teddy. I think with this roster, he could definitely be a playoff quarterback. Like 69%, just above, I think, his passing completion. I think it was over a 92 rating and like 15 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, I want to say. Somewhere there, ballpark, like 3,700 yards. It's good. And that was with Carolina that had a lot of issues. And I think he's got a better setup here if we play his style and if we don't lose people to injury and screw up and all the multitude of other things that could happen in an NFL season. It's magical. So, he comes in for the 6th, so we don't have that 6th round pick. We do get 2 7th. From the Giants, New York Giants give us number 239 to take Isaac Yiadom. Decent prospect, never really worked out. Bit of a reach. You gamble, you lose some. That's a loss. And Cleveland, we get 253, which will be the final pick in this draft. And that goes for Andy Janovich, who we love Janovich, but just not really a scheme fit. Fullback's a luxury that, we can't really afford in terms of the roster spot. Not got great hands, not a great ball carrier. Mauler, he does so many good things, but just not fit for the scheme or where we're going with this team. So, pick up a 7th with him. So, we lose a 6th, we pick up 2 7th. In the draft itself, trade with Atlanta. We get 40 and 114 to move back from 35, and we give up 219. Decent. I like that. I don't mind that at all. Sorry, we move up. Yeah, they move back. We move up in the 2nd. We'll get to that why, the reasons why. I'm just doing the deals for now. But I like that. That's okay. But we did just give up a 4th round pick to get a 6th round pick to move up 5 spots. It's a bit of a hefty trade, especially given the position. We'll get into more of that in a brief moment. Then, again, New York Giants involved. That pick 71 that we have as a 3rd round pick, we trade back 5 spots in that. Down to 76, we pick up 164, which, hey, it's a nice depth pick. It's nothing special. It's a nice depth pick. But then we also trade down again with 76, and that gives the 2 compensatory picks. The New Orleans Saints give up 98 and 105, and we give them the 76 we traded from the Giants. So instead of having 9, 40, 71, 114, 152, 191, and 237, those were our picks. Like the Bridgewater pick went, the 2 we brought in, those trades on the day itself. We end up 9. We move up 5 spots to 35. We drop 27. down to 98. But then the rest of the draft looks really good. So it's that third round pick that doesn't look amazing. But we're up then to 105. We keep our 152. We improve a whole round, really, almost to 164. And then up some spots for 219 from our 237, which we still have, the 239 from New York, and Cleveland's 253 to end it. Gain 3 picks. Third round is where we go backwards on those picks. Everything else we gain. And we give up Yayadum and Janovich and got Teddy Bridgewater on a $3 million deal. I love those trades. George Paton killing it. Absolutely killing it in those trades. When you look at the big picture, killing it. Love it. Especially when you look at who else gave up what during the draft. I think he did a phenomenal job of maximizing the amount of darts he had to throw. And he loves to throw them darts. Offseason cut AJ Bouye, Jarrell Casey, Philip Lindsay, Nick Vannett. None of them did much for us. Some carried a lot of money. Lindsay and Vannett were luxuries that were just going to get paid more elsewhere that we didn't need. And the other two were starters that just didn't play well enough and on big money. So we dropped those out. We re-signed Shelby Harris, great on the defensive line. Justin Simmons, make him one of the highest, if not the highest paid safety in the league. He deserves that. Kareem Jackson leaves but comes back on a 1-year deal. So that solves a problem for now, but it is a rental. Von Miller's options picked up. Bradley Chubb during the draft, his 5th-year option is picked up. So we got the bookend rushers. But again, it's kind of weak after that. Some interesting options, but nobody really that can step in next year if Von retires. So again, need to have an eye on the future in the draft. Tender Tim Patrick, Alexander Johnson brought those guys back and then brought in Mike Boone for running back, an upgrade on Lindsay on less money than Lindsay got. I love that. Kyle Fuller, 1-year deal. What a great corner that would be for us. And Ronald Darby as well. Not a bad deal for him. And it kind of helps out. It really does kind of help out. We've got a lot of people on 1-year deals. So this draft needed to be big. It needed to be big. So, with the 9th overall pick, we went and got ourselves a cornerback. Patrick Surtain II. Dad was an all-pro. Like, such a good player in his day. He seems to have taught Paddy well. He really does seem to have taught Paddy well. If I just bring up my notes on Paddy quickly here. So yeah, 6'1", 6'2". I've seen both heights listed. Somewhere between 205, 210. Decent hands, decent arms, as you can see. Pro Bowl level talent. Alabama corner. First round, 9th overall. 3-year starter. Dad's a Pro Bowler. Great DNA. Home run off the field. You don't have to worry about any issues. No red flags. Kind of captain mentality. Professional as they come. From an early age, was inside an NFL locker room with his dad. He learned well, and he's a hell of a human being. Exactly the kind of high character guys you want on this team. He's got length, great discipline, composure under pressure. He lacks true top end speed, we'll say that much, but boundary corner, he can definitely do some good things out there. Great at press man coverage. He was my personal cornerback 1. I think consensus, he's about top 3 guys. A couple of other really good names in there. But normally he's either number 1 or number 2, depending. And he went the pick after the first corner on the board went. So we couldn't really trade back either. The Cowboys really wanted Patrick Surtain. So, hey, that kind of sucks because you're sitting at 9. Fields and Mac Jones are both on the board. There's quarterback hungry teams. You know you can go back to 20 with the Bears. They eventually go up to 11 and get Fields. The Patriots may have gambled and tried to get up for Mac Jones. That goes back to 15, but they sit there instead of taking him earlier. They take him at 15, which is a good move for both those teams. We couldn't maximize that, but if we did trade back, the Cowboys would have taken Paddy Surtain at 10. And the coaches loved him. Paton loved him. Fangio loved him. Donatello loved him. What are you going to do? So, couldn't maximize it, but a great pick. Great way to kick things off. Not just in Fields, not the quarterback that people wanted at this spot. I know a lot of other people wanted different players, but for a number of reasons, I didn't think we were going to go tackle. I didn't want to go Micah Parsons. I don't think he's a great fit. And I thought really day 2 is where the linebacker class came alive and was kind of proven right on that eventually. But Patty Surtain, just the pick they wanted, so the pick they went and got. Can't fault them for it. Really, really good guy. Next up in round 2, they really wanted Javonte Williams. I don't love taking a cornerback before the third. I don't love, unless it's a top guy, Patty Surtain was. I don't love taking an edge rusher or a quarterback unless it's the top 10. And similarly, I really, really dislike, more than any of that, I really dislike taking a running back before day 3. So I don't think the value is really there. I think your limited time frame for the players, I think if you want a pass catcher, usually, round 4, round 5, those guys are there. If you want a blocker, you can just pick up an undrafted guy. You want a one cut back, you want a bell cut back. Like, they're all there. 5th, 6th, 7th rounds, they're there. You get them, you develop them, you get a couple of years ahead of your need. It makes sense. The only reason you do go and get a running back early, and I still don't agree with the first round unless it's a top 5 pick. If you think he's worthy of a top 5 pick, by all means. Zeke, Christian McCaffrey, those kind of players, sure, go get your guy. You're betting that they're going to be the guy. I don't like late first round picks. I'm a little sketchy on second round picks, especially early second round picks, and especially trading up to get a second round running back. But Javonte Williams is a hell of a player. Gone 5'10", somewhere between 210, 220 from North Carolina. Second round, 35th overall. We traded up to get him. Didn't love it, but again, we didn't give up much. And overall, the picks that we accumulated and lost, the players we gained and lost, I'm perfectly fine with. I think Paton did a phenomenal job overall. Definitely will be probably a member of the room this year. Probably not a full starter right now, but he's a dynamic rush. He's got size, speed, a good agility, good hands, and he breaks tackles. He loves to break a tackle. You cannot keep this man pinned down. Reminds me a lot of some rushers in the league, but for the Broncos, I think we've got to go back to CJ, really. The last time we had a running back that just sort of bowling balled his way through people. Bounced off them, avoided them, shrugged them off, fought for those extra yards. That's Javonte Williams. His production increased every season. He just got better and better. Low wear. They shared reps with other running backs. There's primarily the two of them there, but Javonte didn't sort of run himself into the ground in college, so he should be pretty fresh. You can probably... He's probably one of 3 running backs in this class that's probably going to get the 5th-year option exercise and get a second contract if things go well. I don't see too many others in that kind of range. Harris and Etienne went in the first round. Javonte's there top of the second. They didn't think he was going to fall. I'm not sure which team was going for him. I think it might have been Carolina. But they didn't think that he'd be there, so they wanted to trade up. Fair enough. Go get your guy. I will back George Paton for this. Back him all the way. But he does have the potential to be the feature back. He could be there on all 3 downs. He loves that one cut inside the tackles. Just running. One step, he can be gone. And even when he's caught, like I say, he loves to break those tackles. So my running back 2, consensus top 3, usually number 3, but he was my personal number 2. Like I said, we had to trade up, so I will back George Paton on that one. Next up, round 3. Didn't see this one coming. Gotta be honest. Didn't see this one coming. Yeah. Quinn Miners, aka the Gut. So, there's so many videos going around to this guy. Absolutely love him. Love the work ethic. Love the intelligence. Always looks like he wants to learn. Now, he takes his notepad, writes stuff. He trains up in the middle of Canada on an island. Just pushing over trees. He's bench pressing what he can. He's got a little bench out there. Hauling gas tanks and other stuff. And just absolutely crazy stuff. Bit like Rocky. Phenomenal stuff. Love the attitude. Love the mentality. I think he's going to be a great little player for us. So, somewhere around 6'3", 320 from Wisconsin, White River. Played left guard. Can play center. Question marks then over fit with Cushenberry and with Dalton Rising not playing great last season. The long-term of Graham Glasgow. Maybe Rising goes out to right tackle. Maybe Muti comes in. Like you don't know where these players are going to fit just now, but it's nice to have options. And technically, we could put 5 men out there that I really like and have Graham Glasgow and Juwan James as your backups. And I think that's amazing from where we were a couple of years ago. Absolutely mind-blowing. So, the offensive line is getting better. I think we got a great coach to teach them as well. So, really like his measurables. Really think he can turn into something. Possibly not this year. Year 2, year 3 starter more than likely. But Division 3 player, chip on his shoulder. Point to prove, shows up on tape, killed the Senior Bowl, absolutely killed the Senior Bowl. Former wrestler, he's got some freak strength, a high work rate. He's very raw, needs some technique for certain. His footwork isn't great, but he's definitely a power guy, loves to pancake people, loves to compete, and below average athlete, but it doesn't hurt him because the way he plays. If he refines that technique, it won't hurt him at the NFL level either. So a bit of work to do, but I love the pick with a mind to developing for a year, maybe 2. My six O-lineman, my interior O-lineman, very much a sleeper pick. I didn't know who would really go for him because there are some question marks, but like I said, the Senior Bowl put him on the map. That is absolutely fantastic. And then we move into one of my favorites. One of my favorite picks in this entire draft for the Broncos. Baron Broning. Love Baron Broning. 6'3", 240s, Ohio State, linebacker / edge. Who knows where he's going to end up. They're going to try him inside first, so that's quite nice. I like the fit if he can stick there, but also need edge, and he does fill there, so maybe cross-train him. Who knows? Fangio is looking into that at the moment, so that's fine. The 3rd round, 105, great pickup, I think. This was one that we traded back into. Sorry, 95. No, 105, yes. Quinn was 98. This is 105. So yeah, this is one of the ones we traded back and lost 76 for. I was pounding the table for Baron Broning at 40. We used that 40 to trade up and get our running back. Javonte's worth it, that's fine. I can get past that one. I can trust that Sutton rather than Fields is the pick. I can trust the trade up for Javonte Williams. I can see the logic. I see what we're doing. I'm perfectly fine with it. But if we would have gone Baron Broning at 40, I'm still very happy. I think he fills a big need. I like him a lot. You know, dynamic athlete. He's a physical beast. Just an absolute beast. We don't know roughly where he's going to end up playing. I think that's the biggest question mark. And what some of the teams had a slight knock on him for that. But he's got great coverage instincts. He can really be quite well, maybe as an off-the-ball linebacker. He's not great against the run sometimes. Sort of like head-on. if he's given time to step back and analyze just a split second, if it's a wide run, he's very good at picking up the edges and sealing the gaps. I'm really excited to see what he can do for us if he does stick at my middle linebacker, if he does go to the edge. He's got great sack production. I think he's got like 21 sacks. I think they all came from the edge. He's got some nice moves. The zone coverage is nice. Special teams should be a big thing. He'd probably start off in some packages and on special teams. But I think maybe long term we might see him as a rusher opposite Bradley Chubb or alongside Justin Stronard as the middle linebackers. And I kind of love both those fits, which is why I'm so high on Baron Broning. My linebacker 3 in the entire class as an interior guy. I think he was like 7 or 8 as an edge. I can't remember. Like I said, I'd happily have taken him with our second round pick. I think he starts year 2. I think he needs that year to acclimatize, but I absolutely love this pick. This was one of the first ones that really made me think, Paton's really onto something. Interesting first 2 picks. Needed time to get on board. Then, Quinn Miners was interesting. I can see where we're going, and I start to believe in the process. We hit Baron Broning, and I'm on board. I'm fully on board at that point. Caden Stearns now at safety. I think this was a little bit of a head scratcher for me, especially considering what comes next. But he's a Longhorn, 6 foot, 210, Texas guy from down near Austin, I believe. Like I said, played on Longhorns. 5th round, 152 overall, not a bad pickup here. I think he's got some loose hips, coverage instincts, deep range, aggressive but controlled. Like, there's a lot to like. He really doesn't do well against the run. He's not a box safety. But then again, we don't need one. That's not what Fangio plays. That's not the scheme. He does fit what we do. He does it quite well. But I was a little surprised. Definitely going to be a special teams player, I think. And I think he just starts off as a backup safety. Number 3, number 4 kind of guy. I think he might see some package work. He's very flexible, versatile. Kind of plays a few different schemes. But he's good cover. And probably the 3rd safety, year 2, year 3. I think that's where he fills in. Kind of like a Will Parks. I don't mind that. He was actually my 10th rated safety. I was a little lower on him than most. Some were much higher, putting him as high I saw as the 4th overall safety. I think that's way too high for him. But I love the tool set. And the last time we drafted 2 safeties, we took Will Parks and we took Justin Simmons. Simmons turns out to be one of the best in the league. Parks becomes that 3rd safety that we badly needed. We still badly need. I think this is our Will Parks. And Caden Stearns becomes our Will Parks. Talking to Justin Simmons, hello. 12 picks later, Jamar Johnson, 6'1", 200 pounds from Indiana. Yes, this is my guy. This is my safety guy. 5th round, 164th overall. Absolutely love him. I absolutely love him. I believe he's actually my 3rd safety I've got ranked. Which is crazy. They took my 10th, and then 12 picks later, they took my 3rd. I'd have been happier the other way around. At the time when they took the 10th, I was looking at the board, and so many good safeties still on there. I was wondering what they were doing, but they redeemed themselves from Jamar Johnson. Just absolutely fantastic. Big production, 6 interceptions, some great instincts, great man coverage at times. I think he processes really quickly. Very quick to analyze what's going on, where he needs to go. He does follow the eyes of the quarterbacks, which can be a benefit if it's not a great quarterback. They do tend to lead their throws. So I think he'll hit the ground running a little bit quicker. So, Ken Stearns might have a little bit more work to get done on him, which is why I'm surprised they took him first. A lot of people hate this pick because he went, just after another safety. He's the 3rd DB in what's looking like a good DB room right now. But like I say, I love his instincts. He can play nickel. He's going to be a special teamer. Year 2 starter, I think Kareem Jackson leaves after this season. He's definitely in the lineup. A bit of a hybrid guy. can play the middle, can play half field. Depends what you want him to do, but he kind of has the tool set to do everything. Consensus top 5 safety, my safety number 3. And yeah, I think we've just got our second and third safeties in this round. I think the 5th round was fantastic for that. And again, you just start to see what George Paton's doing, how the Broncos are building. And then we move on to Seth Williams. Wide receiver, big body, 6'2". So he's listed 6'3", but I've got him down to 6'2" from other sources. 211 here, I think his playing was more like 220, a little over 220 last year. But Auburn wide receiver, big guy, really likes competing at the high point. No separation at all, that's fine. Some issues with drops, but then again, that's really on point for a Broncos wide receiver. From DT to Sutton, and then now, Hamler and Judy are having it. Hamilton had it as well, so everybody drops for the Broncos a lot. So he kind of fits in. There's just jugs machine work to be done there. But strong hands, and he's almost a prototypical X-receiver for me. We've got Sutton, we've got Tim Patrick. We're not going to be able to pay both. Not with the other stuff we've got going on. Not if we're bringing in an Aaron Rodgers. Yes, Von Miller might be done after the year, and then you free up a ton of space, and, Juwan James might be gone, Glasgow might be gone, Fuller might be gone, Darby might be gone, Callahan might be gone, Kareem Jackson might be gone. Like, there's so many ways you can save money. But I don't think we pay them both. This is my Tim Patrick replacement. It's a fantastic pickup. He's aggressive, he's fearless, he's a nightmare in the red zone. He's a big special teams player as well. Those drops have to go, and he definitely needs to improve his route running. Zach Azani, I think, is a great coach for doing that. Kotlin Sutton has gone much, much better over the last couple of years, thanks to the coaching. I see Seth Williams following that pathway. And along with Tyree Cleveland, I expect those two eventually to work their way into the rotation. And like I said, to kick out Tim Patrick, to kick out Deshaun Hamilton. Then you got Hamler as your speed demon. Judy coming up the slot, maybe out wide if Hamler's inside. It's up to you how you want to play them. And Sutton's there as well. So I think you got 5 really good wide receiver. And again, we're starting to learn. We're starting to figure out exactly what this team looks like and what George Paton's been doing. So year 2, year 3 starter, I think. My 15th wide receiver, I think I was higher on him as an X receiver. I think it was like 6 or 7. But most people had them like a top 20 in a deep wide receiver class. And yeah, he was about as good as an X receiver, I think, you could have got on day 3. So again, I love the fit. I love the fact that we're getting people in before it becomes a need. We strengthen cornerback before we lose 2 or 3 players next season. We're getting in 2 safeties because Kareem Jackson's probably going next season. We get in a wide receiver because we can't pay Tim Patrick. I just love the way this draft came together and the way we're looking at it. So, very happy with Seth Williams. Day 3 was so exciting. I absolutely adored some of these picks and the work that George Paton is just doing in general. Kerry Vincent Jr. talking about a cornerback. Why get one when you can get 2? Okay, a little bit smaller, a little bit undersized, 5'10", 185, but still decent measurables. A very good prospect. A standout at LSU in quite a lot of the games. I love this guy. 7th round, 237, penultimate pick. First pick in the 7th round. First of 3. I love this kid. I really do. I think he's such a good player that if he was a bit bigger, probably looking as a 3rd, 4th round player minimum. Probably more in the slot. Probably there's your 3rd cornerback. Bryce Callahan's replacement right here. Could move him to safety. That would be intriguing, but I don't think we need to. Explosive athlete. Really gets off well. Bit of a ball hawk. Really good. Lacks the route recognition you might need. Needs to work on that. So, if he's on his man, if his man doesn't lose him, he's a heck of a corner, especially in the slot. But, yeah, when those routes get away from him sometimes, that's when he gets burned. So a little bit of work to be done on that front. He is undersized. That's why he's dropped down even further. Lacks the length, lacks a bit of size, lacks a bit of hitting power as well. But should still be a good special team player. I think the work ethic, the motor is definitely there. Developmental prospect right now. And should be, cornerback 3 or 4 within 2 years. So, again, it fits the need before it becomes a need. And I'm very happy with that. But I definitely don't see him pushing out an Ojemudia. I definitely think he could be the third cornerback behind Ojemudia and Patrick Surtain. Oh, Surtain. I always get that confused, but I think it's Surtain. But yeah, my 12th cornerback, he was always in the top 15. Again, a bit of a deep cornerback class, so really nice pickup there. And a lot of people were happy with Kerry Vincent Jr. And we just kept rolling. We kept rolling in the 7th, picking up Jonathan Cooper, one of those edge rushers that people were loving late on in this draft. 7th round, 239 overall, 6'3", mid 250 pounds from Ohio State. Just high motor, quick hands, some good moves. I like his power. I like his play speed. He ran a 4.69 40, which isn't explosive, but it isn't too bad. Technique is lacking. His hands are good, but everything else needs some refinement. He's definitely a single gap rusher. You can't really expect him to do too much more, I think. But again, another special teams guy. Day 3, we just loaded up the special teams. Day 2 as well, with Baron Broning a little bit. So, yeah, I kind of just like the way we attacked this 7th round especially. But starts on teams, developmental guy, and then again, he's probably in the rotation towards the year 2, year 3, used in packages. I'm not sure where he's going to play for us. I don't think he's fully an edge on this team. I'm not sure how he's going to be at defensive end, but I believe that may be where I put him. I don't think he'd work as a tackle, even a light tackle, which we do use at the Broncos. I don't see him fitting well there. So I think defensive end eventually, the possible move down there onto the line. But my 18th edge, kind of low because I had fit concerns. I had some other concerns on him. Consensus top 20 edge rusher. And I don't see him move into linebacker at all either. So I think defensive end, but really nice guy to be picking up. And then 253 right down the end. Marquis Spencer. Marquis Spencer from Mississippi State. 6'4", 300-pounder defensive end. Another really good guy that can really help out that. And we do help out the line, I think, at the end of things. 7th rounder, 253. It's a great place for him, but there are concerns. There are real concerns. He's got a good motor at times, but he's very inconsistent. He does switch off. That's not great. But a good first step, great bend at times. I've seen some very good strength. He's played a bit of linebacker. And I think if you want him to play linebacker, he could. But he really needs to watch the weight and figure that out. Probably fits best as a defensive end, but does need to shed some weight. There's a chance we slide him inside, let him carry this weight, and play him as a nose tackle. And that's kind of where I see him going. Purely a developmental prospect for the next couple of years. And yeah, he's very agile for a big guy, which I really like. And I think he can be a dancing bear if you wanted to use him at nose tackle. But he's raw. He definitely needs some help. And he can't switch off. We need that motor to be running constantly. And it isn't right now. He was way down on my list. He was almost off my board completely. 22nd defensive lineman. Again, because I think he's a defensive end naturally. But that weight just won't cut it. Some people didn't even grade him. Some people didn't include him on the boards. But I like the pick. I love the pick if it's a defensive tackle development. I like the pick if it's a defensive end and he's got to drop 30 pounds, 20 to 30 pounds. I don't see him at linebackers. I think those are the options, and I'd prefer, like I say, we're getting Cooper. I'm not sure Cooper's on the edge. I think Baron Broning might end up on the edge. So Cooper may be more defensive end, and I see Marquis Spencer then being more of a nose tackle for us. So overall, very good. I think that the 7th round was exciting because a lot of Broncos fans were throwing up like 5 or 6 names. And 3 of those we had opportunities to get. We did end up with Kerry Vincent. We did end up with Jonathan Cooper. Spencer's a little bit more of a surprise, but you like the tool set. Or at least I like the tool set. Seth Williams, I think in the 6th, is an absolute phenomenal pickup. Especially when you're looking at Tim Patrick as a very capable wide receiver. Lots of teams would love to have him as their primary X right now. And we can't afford to pay him. That could be a good trade piece. Could be something to throw to Green Bay. Help them out a little bit. Sort of adjusting to Love if they do trade Aaron Rodgers to us. Who knows how that might work out. But I think that's a very good pickup there. Say Jamar Johnson, Kareem Jackson's replacement for me. Caden Stearns becomes safety number 3, filling that that Will Parks role that we've seen. Broning, if he sticks inside, I think he's the coverage linebacker we're looking for. Definitely has the skill set. I definitely think he might be able to do it. If he goes outside, I think him and Chubb are going to be an effective duo for certain. But it's not where I best see him going. Miners, like I say, just throws up a lot of questions in the offensive line. But hey, we got depth. We just need a right tackle. Free agency is probably going to be where we're going there. There's Ricky Wagner's, Mitchell Schwartz. There's a few guys out there that you could plug and play at right tackle. So, I don't know. They've talked about Dalton Reisner. They've talked about Calvin Anderson. They've got options. But I like the interior now. I think we're so deep on the interior. Garrett Bowles looks like the left tackle without question. That right tackle is the last spot, but I love the Miners pick. I think we were going for a developmental right tackle, and it got away from us. Someone else, I think, went up and got one in the 2nd round that we were going to trade back into the 2nd round, if I heard things correctly. And then in the 3rd round, another one went again, which is why we trade back 71 to 76, and then 76 down to 98 and 105, which becomes Quinn Miners and Baron Broning. But I love those trades, so I'm very happy even if we didn't get that right tackle. Like I say, Javonte Williams, we traded up for. Don't love it in theory. In practice, I'm okay with it. And we did leave Fields on the board. So if you don't believe in Teddy Bridgewater as a bridge quarterback, he's 28. He can get the job done. Good stats last season. With this team, I think he's okay. If you don't believe in Drew Lock, then you did leave Fields on the board. In 2019, he was QB2. Not a lot happened in 2020, but suddenly he's QB4 and slides out of the top 10 when he was very close to Trevor Lawrence throughout the entire process. Like from high school through college. Only last year he wasn't the 2nd quarterback. I see Trey Lance. I get why Trey Lance and his upside and the tools and the fit in San Fran, I see why you take him over Fields. I'm not sure why Zach Wilson rose so quickly, or so much. I have him as my QB3 ahead of Trey Lance. I'm not sure why Fields slides. So we'll see how he does. If he turns out to be a star, then Broncos are going to regret again passing on a good quarterback. But I think we did the right things. We picked up Surtain. The secondary set for this year. We've got some guys in to learn. We're set for the future as well. I think the next 5 years are pretty much done and dusted at safety and corner. I think we're really good. In this league right now, we're going to be putting out some 5 DB back formations. Some 6 guys out there at times. We're just going to overload the field. just makes sense the way we drafted to fit that and get ahead of a need. Offensive line couldn't get the tackle, but offensive line was addressed, and there are right tackles in free agency anyway. And Baron Broning, is a great pickup. Cooper's a great pickup. Spencer's a great pickup. Just don't know where they're going to fit yet. Yeah, I think that's the big thing. I don't know where a lot of these players are actually going to fit yet. They definitely improve the room, and they're definitely going to be needed over the next 3 years. So if they develop, this could be a home run of a draft. Yeah, I think that's kind of where I am on it. Seth Williams, like I say, makes sense. Get ahead of Tim Patrick and just keep those weapons a threat. And if you do get that free agency right tackle, the only thing on this roster that really needs work badly may be the quarterback, depending what you believe. Believe in Teddy, you believe in Drew, you believe the rumors that Aaron Rodgers is coming, then you're fine. If none of those three scenarios work out, what have you got? Russell Wilson, maybe force his way out to Seattle. Things clear up with Deshaun Watson. Probably not this season, probably next season though. But that clears up, and then maybe you go make that trade. And you're handing everyone a team next season. Not this season, but next season. That looks as good as this. And I predict this defense to be top 5 in the NFL. I think we're a top 3 team. We might even be the best defense. We'll see how people play. But we've got the personnel for it, and now we've got the depth for it, especially in the secondary. Magical stuff. Absolutely magical stuff. Just seeing how that's been transformed. The O-line got a lot better last season. Bulls got a ton better. And it's only the right tackle that worries me. The weapons we got, the running back now is a superstar. Quarterback needs to work. We need to find a way to get a quarterback that works, whether we've got him already or not. I don't care. Somebody needs to play well, please. Please. Because this is a playoff team. Aaron Rodgers makes this a Super Bowl contender day one. And that's not too much of his talent. It's the fact that we go from a 20 to 25th ranked quarterback to a top 5 quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater is probably a 15 to 12 range quarterback. I think that's good enough to get us into the playoffs. And once you're in the playoffs, your offense gets you into the playoffs. Your defense wins you games in the playoffs. Kind of how it works. We have the defense to win. The offense has to get us there. Drew Lock, Bridgewater fighting for it right now. Driscoll probably not going to be on the roster, I don't think, very much longer. We don't need to make cuts yet, but we probably will in June. You figure that's going to happen. Training camp cuts, etc. Yeah, I don't know, but I don't see those being on there. Rodgers, bit of a pipe dream, but we might be the only team really in the market. So it's really up to Green Bay to learn whether or not they can do a deal with Aaron Rodgers, number one. And number two, to give us the cost. Probably 3 firsts. I've heard a lot of things. I've heard pure picks. 3 firsts, 2 seconds, and a third. I do that. 100% do that. I've heard 3 firsts, Jerry Jeudy and Bradley Chubb. I don't do that. I don't think I pull the trigger there. You want Chubb? Fine. You want Jeudy? It hurts me, but fine. I think there's a way through it. I think it's fine. But we can't afford to lose, I think, Noah Fant. I don't think he can really be involved there. We can't afford to lose Justin Simmons. Can't really afford to lose Garrett Bowles. Which is weird to say. That's really weird to say. But nearly everybody else is on the table. I like trading away some of those players that we have that we're not going to need next season, but are very good starters like a Graham Glasgow. I think we can trade him out there. Help them protect Jordan Love. I think you can put together a deal with Bryce Callahan involved. as well. You know, good slot corner, can play boundary if you need him to. I think you can even do Kareem Jackson now and not get hurt too badly. It's asking a lot of Jamar Johnson, but I think we can kind of do it. Maybe Michael Ojemudia switches to safety and allows us to put him in the deal. I mean, that's 3 very good starters there. So I think that might work. We can add Tim Patrick to the deal because we've got his replacement in. Tyree Cleveland looks good. We've got options all over the place at wide receiver right now, so I think that makes sense. So you can add those 4 plus 3 first-round picks. And I think I definitely pay the price. I don't know if I'm Green Bay, I take that. But the way that Rodgers is talking, it's done. It's over. There is no way back. And either they trade him, or possibly he retires. I think that's also a possibility. So we will see how it works out. You know, the post-June cuts will happen, and post-June first cuts. And the money therein will change, and then we'll see kind of what they're asking for, or whether they're still bullish on keeping him regardless. I wouldn't blame them either way, to be fair, but if that's a possibility, then great. If not, Bridgewater will probably get you to the playoffs, and you flip the coin and roll the dice on Drew and see if he can play. So, you got options. I love this draft. I love what George Paton's done. I think we're in a great position right now. I didn't love the trade up, but I love the trade backs to get that back. Don't get a 4th round pick, but you trade back in the 3rd, and instead of having a high 3rd, high 4th, you have 2 late 3rds. I mean, that got me 2 sort of 2nd round players. One I had high in the 2nd round, one I had low in the 2nd round, but we got them both at the end of the 3rd. So I think value is great there. It's magical. Having a GM that knows what he's doing and hearing his thought process is amazing. So hopefully we figure out quarterback. Hopefully Juwan James shows up, or we have another option. Free agency, moving Dalton Reisner out there. I don't know what we're going to do yet. But if right tackle is good and quarterback is average, 12th in the league, 15th in the league, that's kind of your range. If we're in there with this team, with these weapons, with the running game that Javonte Williams brings, with this defense, with this depth, I think we're a playoff team. Maybe wildcard, but I think we're a playoff team. And then who knows what happens. It's been a long time since we've had a winning season. Long time since we've had ourselves a playoff game. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm itching to get back to that. So fingers crossed that George Paton can figure this bit out as well. So we'll see where it goes. But hey, hell of a draft. I absolutely love it. So these are the players we picked up in the 2021 draft for the Broncos. 10 picks, couple of trades, some absolutely craziness, and the possibility of Aaron Rodgers. I've not been this excited since 2015, 2016. It's a good day to be a Bronco. So thank you very much for being with us while we run through these picks and break down my thoughts and experiences during the draft. I'm Chris Orme. I'll see you later. Go Broncos, and all the best.